Hello everyone, this is my contribution to the World Congress of Genetics Applied to Livestock Production Conference. The title of the talk is YouTube Applied to the Education of Genetics and Genomics. On the conference itself, I have a 1.5-minute pitch talk, but I thought I have these additional possibilities, so I give you also the whole presentation in this video. Also, there is a full paper in a length of 4 pages, and if this is available, you will find it in the comments below. So let's get to it. YouTube is a platform where millions and millions of watch hours are spent every day on a wide variety of topics. And because of this, it is an opportunity for education or educators of genetics, genomics, and also other subjects to use this resource for their advantage. In this presentation, I will give my practical insight and viewer habits based on my experience on the Genomics Bootcamp channel you are watching right now. Also, I will give some practical considerations and suggest the perhaps unconventional use of video lectures. The presentation will end up classically with conclusions. But perhaps there is an out of the ordinary part of the video at the very end, where I will give my commentary on the writing process of the paper. So let's start with the practical insight and viewer habits. So these are based on my 1 year of experience with the Genomics Bootcamp channel, well, 1 year of experience at the time of writing of the paper. I started this channel in January 2021, and well, when the paper was submitted, it was about January 2022. Now it's a bit more of an experience, but largely the same. The statistics you will see are quite rudimentary, to be honest, but they show the viewer counts and engagement rates from the YouTube analytics as the source. The retention rate was defined as the percentage of viewers still watching at any given time point. I also have to mention that, of course, YouTube is a very dynamic environment and viewership data are developing all the time. So what you see in this presentation is basically a snapshot from January 2022. So the educational videos as such are a form of asynchronous learning. That means that they allow to learn at any given time and location. There is a bit of a disadvantage that the educator cannot answer the questions directly and straight away, but at the same time, the learners can watch them at any time they want. It also means that as an educator, if you put in the effort once, you can reap the benefits from that point on. For example, Genomics Bootcamp is being watched about 30 hours each day at the reference point of June 2022. So I have included this information so you have some reference what is possible. Of course, there are YouTube channels that are way larger than this with the way more watch hours. But as for an educator, teaching more than 24 hours a day is indeed a success. Of course, there is a catch. And well, in this case, even more than one. So the first major, well, I would not say problem, but issue I would mention is the retention rate. It was found by more people that basically the students or viewers do not watch the entire video. So if your plan is that you make a great video, put it online, and that the people will watch it from start to finish, well, this will not happen. Interestingly, even those who should watch or must watch the video because these videos are part of a course, do not do so, as shown by Lau in 2018. YouTube has this nice feature on retention rate. I will show you in a minute. And there you could actually see that how are the students or learners performing in terms of watch time or watch durations. Well, Genomics Bootcamp is a bit different in this aspect because it is not part of any mandatory course. So everyone who is watching Genomics Bootcamp is doing so voluntarily. But actually the experiences are largely the same, also compared with the results from the literature. So this is the promised retention rate figure. So this is from a video that's called Genomics in Practice, How to Start Blink. Actually, this is one of the more popular videos on the Genomics Bootcamp at the time. In January 2022, it had like 6,000 views. But you see the retention rate is quite abysmal. So the gray area is the typical retention of the videos. And you see it so that this is lower than that. And almost nobody is watching at the end of the video. Well, of course, there are ways to improve this, but unfortunately, we cannot go into details in this video. But I would just point out two things. So here at the very beginning, so this is some typical behavior that you see, or at least I see in all of my videos. So there is a huge drop in the retention rate at the very beginning. This is maybe somebody misclicked on the video or quickly found out after a few seconds, 10, 20 seconds, that this video is indeed not what they are looking for. So they are just click away. I mean, those who remain, they are relatively stable, but of course, then they are also clicking away. Perhaps after they found the information they were looking for, they just go on and do the next thing. Of course, the retention rate is very dependent on the content of the video, unsurprisingly. So this is an example of a video with a higher than average retention rate. So you see more or less the same typical retention, and this video is higher than that. Again, the same behavior at the very beginning, people clicking away, finding out that this is not what they looked for, but here I have quite a nice and stable retention rate. Also, you see that there are these dashed lines. So these are video chapters. So these are also one of the ways how to increase the retention rate of the video so that people know where they are clicking and what they are about to see. So this graph is based on a much lower number of views, but seems that, well, the topic of this one was getting organized with your data in your computer. So it seems this is a more catching topic for the people. So they want to see it from start to finish. The other issue I would be talking about here briefly is the overload of possibilities, especially as an educator on YouTube for genetics and genomics, or actually any other subject. Well, YouTube is a huge place. There are millions upon millions of videos, and all are competing for the viewer's attention. And of course, when the people then can choose between an extremely funny video and a video with the, well, valuable, but still work or educational content for genetics, well, I would say 8 times out of 10 people would click on the funny one. This is, of course, noticed by the YouTube algorithm, and then it will feed more of the same to the people. So basically, if people are not actively searching for educational videos, they will have a very hard time to find them. Of course, there are a number of proven techniques that can make your video pop, so-called. So they are kind of stand out and being clicked on it more often than usual. And these are some of the techniques that could be used to improve the viewership of the channel or viewership of the topic that you want to share with the learners. Of course, this considers a scenario where you want to reach a global audience, because of course, if you have a class of students and you tell them so that they need to watch a video, they will click on it. As we saw, they will not necessarily watch till the end, but at least you can be fairly sure that they click on it. But then if you want to reach a global audience, then you need to give a lot of additional effort. Also, we have this YouTube algorithm all around us, which tends to favor popular subjects, popular creators and topics. So it's generally quite hard to break through and establish a strong viewership. Of course, it's not impossible. It's being done every day, but it requires hard work. Also, I would like to give a few practical considerations of my own. Well, I am personally convinced that YouTube is the best platform for educational or video educational materials. I know that there are more platforms out there and everybody has their favorites. Some of these platforms are even focused on educational materials, but my favorite or my platform of choice is YouTube. I mean, the number one reason why I'm saying this is its accessibility, and that is so widely known, and it's frankly just because it's enormous. It's by far the most well-known video platform. Everybody already uses it. Everybody is already on it. So if you break through, it is a very huge opportunity. It's also free for the creator and the viewer. And yes, I have to say that there are the ads and they are quite annoying and people complain about them and so on, but I just take it as a part of the package. So ads are there, yes, but still I think, for me at least, this slight negative side is overrated by the accessibility and the sheer size of the platform. Also, if you upload anything, it remains available indefinitely, unless you delete it, of course. But if you don't do anything, it just remains there, and there is also no maintenance costs. So it is definitely a better alternative than to put anything on a website that needs your personal attention. And also, well, the famous or infamous algorithm, as I mentioned before, it can work against you, yes, but also if the videos are done in a right way and they are done well, then actually the very same algorithm can propel your videos to success, and even to new audiences, to audiences that you would never ever encounter otherwise. This is actually also one of my personal experiences from this Genomics Bootcamp channel. The next part I want to touch is the unconventional use of video lectures. And this unconventional use is specifically aimed at utilization of materials or educational materials in classical research projects. So educational videos are being used as a standard tool for dissemination activities of the standard research projects. But I think they are currently underutilized. Despite these research projects employ a wide range of very successful and very knowledgeable people, the production of video materials, well, let's say it could be better. I have seen some great examples recently from a project or projects that are doing it quite well, but still I think there is a lot of space to improve. And here, to shake things a little bit up, I will make a controversial statement. I mean, with all the controversial statements, it can be understood in a good way or in a bad way, but I just want to emphasize that I mean this in a good way. So the statement is, no one is really interested in the research project itself. So basically the statement here is that the research project itself does not matter. So to give a practical example, what I mean, of course, I made up this example, but let's say that there is a situation that you yourself worked in a huge project that had a budget of millions of euros. I'm quite sure that there is a number of people among the listeners or the viewers of this video who actually have done so. So you can actually judge if the follow-up scenarios are accurate or not, and perhaps write them, your observations down in the comment below. I would be really interested about them. So anyway, the scenario or the situation is that you work on this big project and you talk to your MSc student. So there are two scenarios. In the first scenario, you approach a student and say, hi, I work on this huge Horizon Europe project, which has a large budget and it will solve a lot of things. A likely response that you will get from the student: school, great job. But also in a way, the student will be probably confused, why is this info necessary? And let's compare this to a second scenario where you also approach a student and say, hi, I know about this video that explains landscape genomics for beginners. And let's say the student is working on a similar topic for their master thesis and say, then thanks, I desperately needed this to do my MSc work. I actually had a few of these comments or similar comments in my YouTube video as well, not for landscape genomics, but other subjects. So what will happen is the student checks out the video immediately, eventually also discovers these Horizon Europe projects that you are working in. Well, they will, to be honest, still, they will not care about the project, but they will catch the information from the video what they need. And also from your side, working at the project dissemination, the views are up, the interactions are up. So this is something that is a win for the project side. So to generalize this situation, what is usually happening from my perspective is that the statements like this or videos or things or interviews are made in this sense that what is being said is that, hey, we are from project X and did a lot of work, of course, in the subject Y. And so we advanced the science, which is, of course, great. And it's a great statement and liked and reposted, again, to be very honest, mostly by project members, colleagues, involved institutions, perhaps a few interested people, but basically that's it. What you will get is overall about 100 views or less in a few months. And what I'm proposing here is to change the logic. So we need to change the approach to bring the viewer and their interests forward so that they click on this video because they want to, because they need to know what is inside. So the project dissemination stuff is for them is an entirely just a byproduct. So they do not, honestly, they don't care about the project, they care about their own things. But we can do it in a way that both the viewer is satisfied and get what they want, and the research project dissemination is also satisfied because they have thousands of views. So the previous statement is changing to this is how you do Y. So with this topic or this exercise. Also here we give some open access data so you can work on it yourself. And by the way, we are from this project X. If this is well done, then is picked up by the YouTube algorithm, suggested by the learners to each other, but also suggested by the YouTube algorithm to learners all around the world. And it stays on the platform. So also after the project is long gone, the benefits of such a videos are still being harvested by many students. So you can get potentially thousands of views or much more. So for the conclusions, I am convinced that educational videos on YouTube are feasible and useful. They have a great possibility to reach a global audience. Well, there are hurdles, as explained, with the viewer retention, low channel popularity, and in general, hardship to break through. And all of these need to be considered and dealt with. And the educational videos are opportunities to utilize existing and future resources, for example, from scientific projects to create useful content. This is the end of the main part of the video, but as promised, I have a bonus material for you that is author's commentary, so basically my comments on the writing of this paper. Actually, the first sentence in the paper itself was that it was not really easy to write this paper. Actually, I was thinking quite hard and considering if it's actually ethical to push basically what is my own brand at a conference, such as the World Congress in Genetics Applied to Livestock Production. I mean, yeah, you could see it as a pro and con, you can see it as advertising, but at the end, I decided to go for it because it's kind of similar as if I would write a software. And of course, then I would also present this software at the conference. So it's not quite it, but it's kind of along similar lines. So decided to go for it, and I hope you found the content of this presentation useful. I wanted to give a note on the retention rate and the view durations and everything that is mentioned in this presentation. These are actually, as I briefly mentioned it also there, influenced very much based on the topic of the video. So it can be much better, but also they could be much worse, depending on how the overall things are done. Also, the video durations are playing a role. And for example, the best retention rate, so that the video that is watched in full is usually a short video, for example, a minute long. But if you want watch time, so if you want that the people are watching your videos for a long time, then you need longer videos. So, but this is just the effect of the video duration, and there are many more variables that come into play. Some of these variables are actually quite interesting, but also this video, I think it's going a bit longer than I planned for. Well, my initial plan was around the same time as the classical presentation at the conference, that is 10 to 12 minutes. And well, it's not cut yet, but I'm quite sure it will be a bit longer. But so I needed to leave out some interesting parts, and also from the paper and also from this video. But if you're interested, just let me know in the comments below, and I might revisit this topic. So there are definitely additional aspects that need to be considered to make videos more appealing, especially for the global audience. And the global audience, I mean people who are not intending to approach as a first place. For example, if you make a video for a course, then of course you intend to approach your students and perhaps the future students who are coming to your university. But actually, well, provided that the thing is done in English, the same subjects are taught all around the world. So basically you are getting audience from all around the world, which is very, very beneficial and very, very useful for the creator and also for the student. But as I mentioned, in order so that this video pops up in the feed of the student from the other side of the world, it should be more appealing so that it's picked up by the YouTube algorithm, which actually decides which thumbnails will pop up on all of our screens. Actually, there is a lot of expertise on YouTube itself on this, and I put it in quotation mark that non-genomics experts. Well, I mean it in a way that there are a number of YouTube channels that are dedicated to this topic of making the videos more appealing. So they are absolutely not working in genetics or genomics, but they are actually working in YouTube promotion activities and all these tips and tricks. So there is a lot out there. And of course, one needs to invest time and resources to go through all of them. And of course, which is even harder to do all these things because of course they also require work. Also, you probably did not notice, but I tried to write this paper and also make this presentation, which resembles actually a YouTube video. And that is for some of these points that are short, that there is no or very light introduction and straight to the point, and present things in a relatively compact form. And one of the things that I also do in the paper at I think the very first page, and also I told it here, so that there is a hint or something that there is a bonus information for those who watch till the end, or in the paper is that there is something hidden at the end of the paper that you might be interested in. So this is just to motivate the people to watch through or read through. Of course, they can jump straight to the end of the paper, but yeah, well, this is the risk of the business. But anyway, so this is, for example, one of the techniques that are also suggested to give a bit of a bonus. And well, the bonus material actually was this video or this presentation with my comments. But actually, if I can reflect on my own writing here, and especially if you check the paper, I think I just spent way too much space on this. I spent like 12 lines on it's a limited 4-page paper. I spent 12 lines explaining that there will be some, hidden something at the end and bonus material and something for the video and so on. So yeah, going back, perhaps I would I'll cut back on this and perhaps include some more useful content there. But yeah, so now it is how it is. But also I managed to sneak in some other cool website that is not really connected. Well, it's somehow connected to this situation. It actually refers to an explanation to the Watson and Crick paper. So it's the paper, it's the famous paper that defined the structure of the DNA. And so there is this paper, and on this website there is actually a really cool commentary to it, and almost line by line for this paper, and a lot of nice background materials. So I definitely suggest to check that one out. And also, you might notice that also this subtle way how I push you towards reading the paper and finding the paper. And so, well, this is also a way how to do that. But because, so you know that I don't have a heart of stone, and if you don't want to read the paper, I still include this cool link in the description of this video, so you can check it out straight away. So this was also at the very end of the presentation. I thank you that you sit through it. Thank you for your time. And I would like to hear, or love to hear, your ideas, reflections, commentaries for this topic. So as this is a YouTube video, so there is a neat comment section I encourage you to use. And for now, from my side, I thank you for your time and have a really nice day.